Hi, welcome back to Alex Talking, and today I don't got a movie to talk about. I'm talking about something that I talked about in my last video, though, my movie review for From the World of John Wick Ballerina, which I'll have the link in the description below if you want to check out. But I'm talking about sports. My Pittsburgh Steelers, not the Pirates, because there's nothing good to talk about the Pirates, but the Steelers finally have something good to talk about other than the fact that they traded for DK Metcalf. And that is the fact that they have just announced that they signed Aaron Rodgers to a one-year deal. 1 year, 2025, Aaron Rodgers will be the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. And I am so jazzed. I'm so jazzed because why not? Because why not? This is why I'm excited. I'll tell you why. And if this is Steeler Nation watching, if this is someone who's not a Steelers fan, because the Steelers are in a no-win situation here. They let Justin Fields go. Plain and simple. They saw something, that told them, hey, this guy's just not the franchise quarterback. Not important enough to keep from leaving. They maybe didn't necessarily want him to leave, but anybody knows they could have stopped him if it mattered enough. And it obviously didn't, which told me, okay, I'm wrong. I guess he's not who I thought he was. And which is disappointing because I was in Denver last season and I saw him win that game in Denver. I saw him throw that phenomenal ball to Pickens. That was a pass interference call, but anyways, it was just a stunning throw that told me, hey, this guy really could be, our franchise quarterback, our Lamar Jackson. If Coach T, if Omar Khan don't see it that way, then I suppose it's not that way. They never turned back to him after Russell Wilson completely fell apart in the third half of the season, or back half of the season. They never turned back to him. And that every single day leaves me more and more wondering what if, and more wondering if there's no point in that what if, because maybe he wasn't good enough for them. But either way, he's gone. And with him gone, it was clear they weren't going to bring Russell Wilson back because that would have been foolhardy. That would have been a fool's errand. And it's so crazy that so many people wanted him to come over Aaron Rodgers. You hear so many Steelers fans bitch about the idea of signing Aaron Rodgers, especially that day that free agency started. And while, yes, I wish they signed Sam Darnold because I've been somebody who thought Sam Darnold was going to be the next coming of Andrew Luck since I saw him beat Penn State back in the Rose Bowl in 2017, because I was like, wow, can't stop dude today, so as a Penn State fan, that was like, okay, I think this is a pretty big deal, pretty big dude. And then he never was till last year, and that made me happy for him, and I wanted to see him succeed, and I wanted him to be the Steelers quarterback this upcoming season because I thought he was best option after Fields left. But he was gone too. And it was clear to me then it was Rodgers. That Rodgers was the best available option left. And no shade to Kirk Cousins, no shade to anybody. And definitely no shade to Mason Rudolph, because we all appreciate those 3 great games he gave us back 3 years ago or 2 years ago. But you remember the night Rudolph saved Christmas. I remember the night Rudolph got bonked over the fucking head with his own helmet on Thursday Night Football. So the idea of going into a season fully accepting of the fact that Mason Rudolph was going to be the Steelers franchise quarterback, not even franchise quarterback, just starting quarterback, for the year of the franchise that I like in the NFL, was absolutely putrid and sickening to me. Just so disappointing to think that would be okay. Because at the end of the day, they'd probably go 8-9. I'm not dumb enough to pretend that they would have gone 9-8 with Rudolph as the starting quarterback. For whatever reason, a lot of people were like, they'll do the same thing they always do where they lose in the playoffs. It's like, okay, I'll give Russell Wilson some credit. Russell Wilson and them, they were firing on all cylinders until they got destroyed by the NFL, putting 3 games in the span of 11 days at the end of the season last year against 3 extremely difficult opponents, and they got destroyed. They just got eviscerated in all 3 games. It was so hard to watch them just get completely outclassed, outcoached, and outplayed. And that is just why it's so hard to go through this offseason as a Steelers fan, and why so many Steelers fans wanted Coach T to be fired after that playoff loss to Baltimore. When it's important to remember, at a certain point they were 8-3 last season, and with Fields they started 4-1 or 3-2. Now they were 3-2. So yeah, and I mean, yeah, he played bad in the Dallas game. It's all water under the bridge. So much happened last season. So much change, so much growth, so much drop, so much hope, so much will Pickens ever be fucking good? And the answer was no, he's gone. And like, I have a George Pickens Steelers jersey. You know when I got it? Before week 1 of his rookie season. I thought that dude was the next coming of Hines Ward, who's my favorite football player of all time. I was so hyped when they drafted him. And outside of some insane freak alien catches, it's not easy to lie and say that he was anything other than a huge disappointment and made way more headlines and headache for his disappointments, his failures, and his lack of maturity than ever actual statistics. Most of his biggest plays were always called back, too. Now, that is another thing to say, and when I lean forward like this, I have the Steelers schedule pulled up on a computer in front of me. That's all I'm doing. That's not to say he's not going to thrive in Dallas, because I absolutely think he will. But will it be hilarious if CeeDee Lamb gets too many catches and he goes berserk on Jerry Jones in the press box? Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. But you know, it's harder than ever to be a Steelers fan to me right now, because it feels so rudderless and so momentumless. And I am engaged to somebody who is extremely nihilistic about sports. She does indulge and talk to me about them a lot of the time, but more than anything, she does just hate sports a lot. And especially the egotistical and financial and greed side of it. So, from her perspective, she is so beyond done. She's only been in for 2 years, but she's like, you got me in 1 year and Kenny Pickett was the quarterback and he was horrible the entire time, and we were only upset every time we watched the Steelers. Yeah, you're right about that. And then they traded him and you got invested in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and we were in France together and you were so excited and that's all you could think about the entire time. Yeah. And then now they're already gone too after 1 year, even though you said they were doing great midway. Yeah, I know I said they were doing great, but then, so she's so fed up and done with football because of my being a Steelers fan, and that puts into perspective for me how bad they are right now and how bad the franchise has been being run. Because for someone who doesn't have a stake in it, it's so disgusting for her that she has had to just throw in the towel. And yeah, I know Aaron Rodgers coming to the Steelers has the entire time that I have been teasing to her that was on the table, she has wanted that not to happen. So I'm not even going to tell her that it happened. She'll find out eventually whenever, I'm wearing a fucking Aaron Rodgers jersey on our wedding night or something. But no, she's not going to be thrilled about this. Most of my family and friends I know aren't going to be. But this is all to phrase and frame why I am. And that's because I have not had fun being a Steelers fan. I have not had fun being a Steelers fan the last 3 or 4 years. Since pre-pandemic, I haven't really had fun. 2020 was fun until it wasn't. 2020 week 12 is when Steelers football died, as far as I'm concerned. You have some fun games here and there, but it's been hard. Jaguar fans exist, so like, what are they to do but be miserable 24/7? But I'm a Pirates fan. I understand that as well, because baseball is my favorite sport as well. So, and like, from that perspective, the Pirates have completely abandoned all hope for me, and I just enjoy baseball very casually and don't even have a team anymore because I can't even bring myself to watch them, because they're such a pathetic excuse for an organization, let alone a sports team. So it's been rough, and all I can see is a light at the end of the tunnel with signing Aaron Rodgers. Not a permanent one, mind you. Not at all. But I see a fun football season ahead. I see a fun football season ahead because why the fuck not sign Aaron Rodgers to be your quarterback? He's 41 coming off of a torn Achilles and 3 years of missing the playoffs. Oh, that is a reason. But he's also objectively one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. He also is just better than Mason Rudolph. 41-year-old on a torn Achilles is just better than Mason Rudolph. But if he's not, then you get a high draft pick. And that's what everyone wants to hear at the end of the day. Everybody wants to say that you tank and you fail and you get Arch Manning or whatever, even though I don't think Arch Manning is going to come into the league next year. I would much rather get Drew Aller, because he could be the next Josh Allen as far as I'm concerned. But I see Aaron Rodgers as a foolproof 5-4 win quarterback. He'll either be worse and like a worse leader, worse quarterback, and a worse performance than he was last year and get 4-5 wins. Or he'll come scorch earth this motherfucker and he'll take him to maybe the fucking Super Bowl. And I'm not one to say that lightly. As my sister once said that Kenny Pickett is a three Super Bowl winning quarterback minimum. She said that on the way back from seeing a movie in Hagerstown one time. It was one of the funniest things I ever heard. But, like in hindsight, like I'll never forget someone saying that. But this is like a huge opportunity. This is boom or bust. This is giving Cam Hayward and TJ Watt another year of eligibility and hope. Another year of contention. This is not throwing in the fucking towel. This is trying. And at the end of the day, if you're a fan of any sports team, that's the most and the number one thing you could hope that they can do is try. It's just true. Because I am fans of a team that does not try. Fucking ever. So, and excuse me for swearing so much in this video, I would hope sports fans are able to take it. But I'm just a little more jazzed about this subject, and then I get a lot more angry when I think about the Pirates, and I keep seeing that reflected back at me. I should stop wearing Pirates clothes because that must piss people off on the streets too. I get heckled all the time for wearing Pirate stuff, and it makes sense because they piss me off too. But this is hope, this is trying, and this is fun. This is going to be a team I want to tune in and watch just to see what happens, just to see what Rodgers looks like in black and gold, just to see what Rodgers looks like throwing the DK Metcalf for the Steelers, just to see what Pat Freiermuth looks like catching balls from Rodgers, just to see what this is going to be. And that's fun, because I know what Mason Rudolph looks like in the Steelers. It's not good. It's not good. It wasn't good on the Titans. Why would it be good here? It showed, if anything, he's completely incompetent. I'm not going to bash Mason Rudolph. I'm not going to spend any time bashing Mason Rudolph. But this is just so much funner for me as a Steelers fan to go into next season. So now I'm going to look at the schedule. I have it pulled up right here on this fucking gorgina piece of paper. I wrote it all, color-coded them, of course. I also have it pulled up here so I can look at the logos and give me serotonin thinking about, A-Rod gunning them down. And this one gives me a lot of fun because we're looking at week 1, the New York Jets, baby. In New York, in the Meadowlands, in MetLife. I'm going to be in MetLife a week before this to see the Oasis reunion concert. And I can't believe that they did not put this in prime time. They were so scared Rodgers wouldn't go through with it. I can't believe they didn't put it at least later in the season so they could flex it. But for what it is, we just get a fucking awesome 1 o'clock kickoff game. Aaron Rodgers versus Aaron Glenn. And fuck the New York Jets. I cannot wait to see them go down. Because, and I say that as a bit because Aaron Rodgers is the Steelers quarterback now. But also because they never fucking win when I need them to. And they always win when I don't. I think about the end of the 2022 season whenever they lost to the Dolphins with Joe Flacco under center and couldn't get the job done in 13-10 game, whatever that was. Oh my gosh, the fucking Jets suck so much. And fuck Justin Fields for going to the Jets and abandoning a good organization. Having gone from the Bears to the Steelers, knowing what a bad organization looks like, going to a good one, and then being like, I need money. I'm going to the one that is always horribly ran because I just got a new head coach, and maybe it'll be different this time, just like every other time. Whatever, Bubba. I hope you have a good time. That's a fucking Pittsburgh Steelers W. That's a W, baby. That's a W. Then we go home for the home opener against the Seahawks. This is another team that could have had Rodgers. Here's something to think about. They could have gone a completely different route, and instead of signing Darnold to a 3-year contract, they could have signed Rodgers. And one could argue they should have. They would have been one of the teams that made the most sense to, other than the fact that they got rid of all their assets, so why would he go there? But signing Sam Darnold to a 3-year deal almost makes no sense because they got rid of all their weapons, when a lot of people say Darnold was only good in Minnesota because of the coaching and the weapons. Now they got rid of all their weapons and are fully relying on Darnold to just be good. Roll the dice on that. I don't know if that's going to work out for you. I've always bet on it working out for him, but this time I'm not going to. Another Pittsburgh Steelers W. Then we go week 3 in New England, playing Drake May, playing Mike Vrabel, Patriots' new head coach, former player. I'm going to give this one a loss. I just have to be 100% honest. I don't want to be full homer in this video. And I'm too used to them losing in New England. So, I don't know if Rodgers is going to be full MVP this year. If he is, this will just be a 3-0 start. If not, I can see him stumbling to one of these games. And this is the one I'm going to give it to because it's on the road. And it's against the Patriots, and we just never can beat the Patriots. Week 4, though, we go to Ireland to play the Minnesota Vikings. That's a W, and that's a big, fat W. That's a huge win because we're going to be in Steeler Nation, Ireland. We're going to be going against the team that Aaron wanted to go to. And I can say that. I know that's where he wanted to go. He wanted to fulfill the Favre prophecy. And fuck them. He has beaten them 1,000 times before. He's going to do it again. Kevin O'Connell, freak nasty chow. And J.J. McCarthy is a little boy. They should have stuck with Sammy Darnold. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers W. Heading into the bye week, 3-1. Then, week 6, home game, back in Hines, going up against the Cleveland Brownies. What's that going to be? You know what it is. They're playing the Browns. What are they going to do? Lose? Then we go week 7 in Cincinnati. Playing the Bengals. Thursday night football. First primetime game with Rodgers. I get so wary of games in Cincinnati because it's one of my least favorite cities in the world. And it's my least favorite team in all of football. I cannot stand losing to the Bengals, and I cannot stand losing to their fans. The worst fucking fans other than maybe Chiefs fans. And I don't say that because they won the Super Bowl. I had a horrible interaction that will never leave me with a Chiefs fan on a cruise ship whenever they were playing Houston in the divisional round of the 2020 playoffs before they had even won a Super Bowl, and they were down 24-0, and then they came back and won. This whole Chiefs family was the biggest bunch of fucking assholes I've ever met. And I just thought, boy, I hope they lose in the playoffs so bad and never win a Super Bowl. And, I know that I reverse jinxed and put a curse on the rest of the world by thinking that and having that vengeance in my heart, obviously, with what the Chiefs have become. But every time they lose in the Super Bowl, I at least get a smile knowing that their night was ruined. I'm going to give the Steelers the win in Cincinnati, though. I'm going to give them the win. I don't like the Bengals, and I want to beat them. So I'm going to say they're going to win. Week 8, Sunday night, back in Hines against Green Bay. This was masterfully planned. October 26th, I will be at a film festival, and I'm so sad that I cannot go to this game. I've already seen the Packers play in Hines before, and it was a great game. But this one's going to be light show. This one's going to be a firework factory, man. Aaron versus Jordan. I cannot wait. And I'm going to say they win. They're going to win this one. Something just tells me that would not sit right with A-Rod. If he only, because he'll only ever get one crack at him unless we play in the Super Bowl, and I would not at all be surprised if it's the Super Bowl, just because I'm a Steelers fan. But that is to say that I actually think the Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. They're my official pick. No, I'm not just saying that right now. I wouldn't say the Steelers are my official pick. Whenever I went through and I did the whole breakdown of the schedule, my prediction was Buffalo, Green Bay, Super Bowl. But if it's Green Bay, Pittsburgh, I would love that. Just absolutely love a chance to avenge Super Bowl 45 with Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers side of the field this time. Also, give him number 12 just because Bradshaw's been bitching a bunch about him. That'd be hilarious. It's not officially retired. They better give it to him. That would be so funny. Week 9, we play versus Indianapolis. That's a W for the same reason that the Patriots game is an L. We always beat the Colts unless Justin Fields is our quarterback. Or Mason Rudolph. Nope, that was bitch Trubisky. But yeah, I think that they'll right the ship against Indianapolis because it is so weird that they could always beat the Andrew Luck Colts and they can't beat the Shane Steichen Colts. Week 10, go to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. Take the L. I'll admit that one. That's a Sunday Night Football game. That's going to be a tough game. Harbaugh's a great coach, and the Chargers are only going to be better this year. And I see that one as a loss. Moving on to Week 11 versus Cincinnati. I want to sweep the Bengals this year. I'm going to say they do. I'm going to give them the W on that one. That's the weekend before my wedding, so I'll probably be at Monster Palooza over at the convention center in Savannah, and then maybe go and watch us at a bar somewhere and have a good time. But yeah, I see that one as a W. Right now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins and 2 losses, an 8-2 start. Can we match last year's record at 8-3, or will we go better at 9-2? And we're gonna go 9-2 because we're playing the Bears. If there's any surefire win on this schedule, it's the Bears in Chicago. That's Aaron Rodgers' house. He owns that bitch. He's never lost there. That's not a fact. I don't know. But everybody knows the gimmick of Rodgers owns the Bears because it's been ages if he has ever lost in Soldier Field. So that would be the biggest joke on this list to say a loss if it was going to be. Then we have Week 13. And Week 13 to Week 16 is brutal. It's the next 4 games. But even the next 6 games, the last 6 games, sitting at 9-2, the last 6 games are very hard. Just like last year, the beginning half of the schedule, not necessarily easy, but definitely easier. And then you get into such a hard stretch once the end of November kicks in. And that starts Week 13 versus Buffalo. 4:25 kickoff. It's the Sunday after my wedding. I'm giving that a win. Oh, wait, no. The Chicago game's the Sunday after my wedding. Buffalo is the first home game after the wedding. That's a tough call. But I already wrote it down as a W, so it's going to be a Pittsburgh Steelers W. I think that could be the game of the year. Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen, Pittsburgh Steelers versus Buffalo Bills. If Rodgers brings the Steelers back to being just must-watch football, like my delusional brain thinks the best possible outcome can go, then yeah, I don't see any reason they can't win this one. Week 14 at Baltimore. This one will be a loss. I'll give them the L there. They're just so good. I know that that's not fun to say, and I definitely don't want to ever give them that as a Steelers fan, but the Ravens are ridiculously good right now, and I don't see them winning in Baltimore. Week 15 versus Miami. That's Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a great game. Wow. Monday Night Football. Monday night. Okay, that's a W. They don't lose on Monday night. That makes me feel better. I wrote it down as Sunday night. It's on my computer as Monday night. That makes me feel better. That'll be a W. They don't lose on Monday night. The Dolphins were my favorite team back whenever I only knew football teams and sports teams based off of logos. So I always get nostalgia when I look, even though that's not their logo anymore. Whenever I was that young, it was the one where the Dolphin had the old leather cap on, and that was way better. But God bless the Dolphins. If the Steelers aren't good, they're the team I always hope are good. And They never really are. But yeah, giving the Steelers the W here. Week 16 in Detroit. I'm not delusional enough to give them a win there. That's going to be a loss. Week 17 in Cleveland. I'm actually going to give them a loss there just because I don't think that I've given them a realistic amount of losses yet. And let's see, they're at 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. And it'd be a lot for them to go 5-1 in the division. So they'll drop one of them to Cincinnati and Cleveland. And I think for whatever reason this year, it just might be Cleveland. Week 17, coming off of week 16 in Detroit. People are going to be really scared of a late season collapse, especially if they drop one of the games against Miami and Buffalo that they very well could have. They could be looking at, 4 out of the last 5 games losing or whatnot, which is very hard. But yeah, that's where I'm sitting at. And then week 18 versus Baltimore, I'm going to give them the win, but I can see that being flexed to Sunday Night Football and being for the AFC North. Because at this point, I have the Steelers at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 wins and 5 losses. And that would make them 12-5 with a win over Baltimore. Baltimore's record will probably look very similar, probably around 3 to 5 losses around that time of the year. And if they're going to be still playing for the division, that'll be Sunday Night Football because it's Steelers and Ravens. So yeah, I'm going to guess that they go 12-5 with Aaron Rodgers. If Rudolph was the starting quarterback, I had them going 6-11 the last time I did this. So doubling their wins definitely makes me have a lot more hope and a positive outlook of this season. Shows you why I'm a lot more optimistic. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun to see a dude who I've been watching play football my entire life. I am 21 years old. I have watched this dude play football for as long as I've had a cognizant memory. And I watched him beat the Steelers in one of the first Super Bowls I ever watched. He is right next to Peyton Manning and Drew Brees for the funnest football player I ever had the pleasure of watching play quarterback. I don't think a Tom Brady or Mahomes is the GOAT just because they play quarterback in a very different way. They play it in a way that gets them wins, but not in a way that actually is intriguing or even that impressive to watch. But watching Rodgers play is right up there with Brees and Manning. And the idea that for the first time ever, one of those guys will be the Steelers quarterback. Because Big Ben to me has always been our GOAT. Obviously the best quarterback in the history of the franchise. And all I knew, and ever since then, has been it was really fun to see Russell Wilson play quarterback for the Steelers until it wasn't. And even if Rodgers struggles, it'll at least be fun to watch this dude go out and know that he's going out as a Steeler. For whatever reason, it's just something I never could have imagined in a million years. It is 1 in a million that this has happened. And it makes 12-year-old me that has a Packers Aaron Rodgers jersey because I liked him that much thrilled. It makes 12-year-old me that had an Aaron Rodgers fat head on my wall because I liked him that much jazzed. And it makes 20-year-old me that spent last summer in Wisconsin wish that I was doing it again this year to talk to all those people about the legend, the man, the myth, Aaron Rodgers.